What's up guys, it's Timo here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video because RB Leipzig's chief executive Ralf Rangnick has told Timo Werner that Bayern Munich don't want him, and Bayern Munich were one of the favorites to sign Timo Werner alongside Liverpool. So this moves Liverpool into pole position of signing Timo Werner because he will almost certainly, like 100%, leave RB Leipzig because he only has 1 year left on his contract. He still hasn't signed a contract extension, and Leipzig said that they can't afford to keep Timo Werner and lose him for nothing. This is what Rangnick told Sport Bild, a German newspaper. I would not be so sure that Werner will actually go to Bayern. If Bayern were absolutely sure about Timo, they would have already officially contacted us with a request. Anything else would be unusual for Bayern, especially since we have a good relationship with them. Our position has not changed. We do not want him to go into the last year of his contract without an extension, and the fact of the matter is Timo Werner still hasn't signed a contract extension, so he wants to move on. He wants to move to a bigger club to challenge for titles and Champions League trophies. And those comments echoed the chief executive Oliver Mintzlaff's when in January he discussed the move for the striker, and this is what he said: a club like us cannot afford to go with Timo Werner in a final contract year. But as long as we develop as a club, and of course the Champions League participation will be helpful, I believe that Werner is still in good hands with us. If Timo does not strive for the highest possible salary, then it would be a good investment in his sporting future. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It just takes a second for you guys to click that like button, and it really helps me out and shows me that you guys enjoy these types of videos. And subscribe if you are new to my channel, turn on the bell notification, and then you will never miss a future upload. Timo Werner again had a fantastic season with RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga and overall in Europe as well. He scored 19 goals this season and got about 15 assists, which is for a striker very good numbers. And he scored those 19 goals in just 37 games because he missed some games with injury. And last season he scored 21 goals. The season before that he scored 21 goals again. And with him being on his final year of his contract, I think Liverpool could get him for a cut price deal. The big question is, does Jurgen Klopp really want another striker? Timo Werner is not a squad player. He's quite a high profile striker. He's the number 9 of Germany. He's probably the regular striker in Germany for the next like 5-6 years. I mean the German national team. He scored already 9 goals in 24 games for the German national team. The big question is, will Jurgen Klopp spend like 40-50 million pounds on Timo Werner? I don't think Leipzig can ask for something ridiculous like 70 or 80 million pounds because Werner being just 1 year left on his contract, I think this is the only time where Leipzig can get him on can get good money for him, because it's a very dangerous position for Leipzig to be in, because if they can't sell Werner right now in this summer transfer window, they will risk losing him for absolutely nothing. They will miss out on 50 or maybe even more million pounds in the transfer market. And that could be devastating for Leipzig's finances, because as the chief executive and the CEO is saying, Leipzig are not a club who are super rich, so 50 million pounds is an awful lot of money for them. The big question is, as I keep saying, will Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool move for Werner right now, or will we try to get him on a pre-contract agreement in January? I personally would move for him right now, because as you can see, Bayern Munich are not desperate for a striker, but 1 year from now Lewandowski might leave Bayern Munich and then Werner will go to Bayern, because I think Bayern Munich is his preferred destination. But if Bayern don't want Werner, Liverpool could come in and really get him, and I think that would make a lot of sense, because we need another attacker in our squad, somebody who can play instead of Firmino and sometimes ahead of Firmino, and Firmino could play behind him as a false 9 or a number 10. And I think Liverpool should really go for him, because if we seriously want to challenge Manchester City next season, then we need more squad players and better squad players. And Jordan Henderson wants to see Liverpool emulate Manchester City and start winning multiple trophies every season. This is what Henderson said. City have won 3 trophies this year, and that's where we want to be. We don't want to be going for just one cup or the title. We want to be winning more and more titles each year. If you look at City, they don't stop at one trophy. They are picking up 2 or 3 a season, and that's something this club should really be doing. That's the aim anyway. We can't change what happened in the Premier League now, but we can change what we do in the final. I think we were all disappointed for a couple of days, but football changes so quickly, and so does your focus, and there's nothing better to make you focus on than a Champions League final. This is obviously a big opportunity for us, and we really want to finish this season with a trophy. If that doesn't happen, it will be really hard to take, but at the same time we can still look forward to what comes in the seasons ahead. And I think this is a brilliant idea by Jordan Henderson. Liverpool, I honestly think that with the squad that we have, just with 2 or 3 quality additions, we could really challenge on multiple fronts. This season, in the early part of the season, in the first half of the season, we had so many injury problems that we went out of the League Cup very early. We were quite unlucky to lose to Chelsea at home. We were the better team in that game. And also we were quite unlucky to lose to Wolves in the FA Cup. We deserved to go out, but we were unlucky because we had to play like 70-year-old Kiana Hover in the defense, because we were decimated defensively. We had so many injuries. We had to play Camacho, we had to play Fabinho in defense. So it was a very, very hard period. But if Liverpool want to challenge for multiple trophies, Liverpool need a bigger squad with more quality players. But we already have Lallana and Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back from long-term injuries. Naby Keita will be fit hopefully for next season as well. And that already gives 2 more numbers to the squad. And I'm sure that Jurgen Klopp will want to replace the likes of Moreno and Sturridge going out. And I really hope that we sign somebody like Timo Werner or Memphis Depay, a forward player who can really come in and make a difference and score 15-20 goals every season, just to help ease the pressure on Firmino, Salah and Mane, because at the moment they are scoring like 70% of Liverpool's goals. And a very interesting transfer news: Manchester United have ruled out a move for Matthijs de Ligt, even though they offered a ludicrous amount of money. Like, just put that into context, they offered twice the wages that Virgil Van Dijk is on at Liverpool. They offered something like £350,000 per week, and also they offered like 65 million pounds for de Ligt. But at the moment it looks like they pulled out of the transfer negotiations. I think mainly because de Ligt doesn't really want to go to Manchester United. If we are being honest, I think Manchester United are now a level below the likes of Barcelona and Liverpool, and they are not even in the Champions League. So I think de Ligt will either go to Barcelona or Liverpool. Bayern Munich and Juventus are in the running as well, but they are outsiders at the moment. So I will keep you updated on the de Ligt transfer news if anything happens. Gerard Piqué actually said, and I quote, "I believe that if we had gotten through at Liverpool, we would have won the treble. That is my feeling. We would have come here to the Copa del Rey final with a different mood, and I'm convinced we would have won the Champions League final, but that is football. We are really, really hurting because Barcelona lost to Valencia in the Copa del Rey final, and that is their first loss in, 5 attempts in the Copa del Rey final, because they won the previous 4 titles, the cups, the Spanish cups, and also because they went out in such a bad collapse at Liverpool. This is now a very disappointing season for Barcelona fans, and rightfully so. They were expecting to win everything before the season started, and yes, they won the league, but it was pretty easy for them to win the league because Barcelona were just so much better than Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, who look to be going through transitional periods. The way Barcelona played, I watched them all season, many games. It's a far cry from the Guardiola type of Barcelona football. They play nothing like that nowadays. And Piqué told reporters after the Copa del Rey final, it was a good year because the league was won, but the expectations a few weeks ago were to make a much better year. We lived it with that bittersweet taste that the season could have been much better. The future of the coach Valverde does not worry us. We have to do an individual and collective analysis. We have already said that we would like the coach to continue because he has done a great job, but they are decisions that are not in our hands. We have a long summer to analyze what can be done better. And many Barcelona players have actually endorsed Valverde, including Messi and Rakitic as well. But too many Barcelona players are just too comfortable under the manager. So it's just so good to see that Liverpool basically ruined Barcelona's season, because I think that if Barcelona went to the Champions League final, they would be full of confidence and they would have probably beaten Valencia in the Copa del Rey final. But they played against Valencia like their heads were already down. And that is because of Liverpool, and I'm so proud of that. Harry Wilson also hinted at his future. He said, obviously every player wants to play at the top level and the Premier League is the best league in the world. If I could do that with Derby, it would be great, and we have got a great opportunity to do that, get promoted in the playoff final. Like I said, in the summer is when I will sit down and discuss my options. For now, I'm just doing all I can to make sure that I do have that option of playing in the Premier League with Derby come next season. He's focusing on the playoff final, which is tomorrow, and then if Derby get promoted, maybe we will loan out we loan out Harry Wilson to Derby for another season. And it looks like that Liverpool want to sign a pretty experienced backup goalkeeper. Simon Mignolet most likely will leave in the summer, and according to some newspapers, Michael Edwards, the Liverpool chief scout, has identified Hull City goalkeeper David Marshall. He is a 34-year-old Scottish player and he will be available for free this summer when his contract expires. And he also had experience playing for Celtic and Cardiff City. And he was linked with Liverpool previously under even Brendan Rodgers, but that move didn't really materialize. And it makes a lot of sense because Marshall would be likely to accept sitting on the bench week in, week out, and he would be rarely be called upon. But it's a dangerous game because David Marshall is a lot lower level than Alisson. And if Alisson gets a long-term injury, then we would be stuck with this goalkeeper, and I would like to have a better goalkeeper sitting on the bench, but it's always difficult to sign a better goalkeeper and him to sit almost all season on the bench is difficult because most goalkeepers who are at a good level want to play regularly. They want to be at the club where they are first choice goalkeepers. It's a difficult conundrum for Liverpool as well. Jurgen Klopp actually hailed the brilliant second assistant coach who reminds him of himself, and he said, I could write a book about Pep Linders. This is what Jurgen Klopp said. Pep, I could write a book about him, about what a big influence he had, about what a fantastic young assistant manager. I still don't know what his title is, assistant manager probably. What a fantastic young coach he is, what a lively presence he is. Now how big the influence of his optimism is and how lively he is on the training pitch. It is just a fact. I was like that when I was young and I'm not like that anymore. That's how it is. But I think Jurgen Klopp sees a lot of himself, a younger version of himself in Pep Linders, and they have a very good chemistry between each other. And Virgil van Dijk has revealed that he overcame a potentially life-threatening health scare around 8 years ago at the start of his career when he was emerging as a young player in Groningen in Holland. And this is what he said in an interview. It was a period that I looked after myself for the first time in my life. I couldn't cook. I lived with another player And if you are that young, you think it's easy. We just had training, we are not going to try and cook, we are going somewhere to eat. After I ate so much rubbish, the appendix was affected. I kept eating bad things. The appendix burst and it was a very tough time. I learned so much about food and that we should value every situation we are in. When something like that happens, you think a lot, and today I appreciate everything we have got. I know that life is much more than football. We have family and it's all about being happy and healthy. So Virgil van Dijk could seriously have been in a very, very difficult situation if it wasn't for the doctors and the quick intervention. He got taken to hospital, Van Dijk, and they quickly fixed his health issues. But I think young players sometimes make the mistake when they are not around like wiser people to eat rubbish and to not care about the lifestyle that they are leading. And especially if you are a professional footballer and trying to make it at the top, it's absolutely vital that you eat the right food and exercise regularly, of course, and also to get a good amount of sleep, not to go out drinking and partying too much, because that will affect your performance on the pitch. And I think Virgil van Dijk learned that very quickly with this health scare happening to him. And Pep Guardiola said that ultimately his Manchester City side will be judged on whether they can win the Champions League or not. And if they don't, it will be a bit of a failure of Guardiola's tenure at Manchester City. This is what he said. I said before that I know we will be judged at the end on whether we win the Champions League or not. I know unless we do that, it will not be enough. This comes with me, I know that. I arrived in Barcelona, we were lucky we won it 2 times in 4 years, and the people expect I am something special, that we have to win the Champions League every year. In this club, the points record, the domestic competitions is incredible, but the Champions League we don't win quite often compared to the other ones because the teams are so good. The competition is so demanding, but we want to win it. And it's still an argument against Guardiola that without Lionel Messi, he has never won the Champions League. Yes, he won the league title at every club that he has been in, but you could argue that at Barcelona, when he, of course, he built up Barcelona quite brilliantly. He brought in players from the youth academy like Pedro, Busquets and other young players, Iniesta as well. But he built a terrific, one of the best in the world, one of the best in the history of football teams in Barcelona, and he won everything with them. But then he went to Bayern Munich. And at Bayern Munich, it's basically a default to win the league. So I don't think that's an outstanding achievement that he won the league title there. And he failed to win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. And in 1 year, they lost quite heavily to, I think it was Real Madrid, if I remember correctly. And then Guardiola went to Man City, and still every year he failed in the Champions League. I mean, losing to Monaco, losing to Tottenham, clubs with the fraction of resources that Manchester City have. And I think that is still a failure of Guardiola, that he hasn't won the Champions League yet. And Milner actually explained in an excellent interview recently that Messi called him a donkey in the Champions League semi-final second leg. And Milner, oh boy, he was quite mad. So this is what he said. He wasn't happy, Messi. He was giving me plenty in Spanish going down the tunnel at halftime. He was calling me burro. It translates as donkey, but I think it's also used in Spanish football as a general term for someone who goes around kicking people. I asked him if he was all right, but he wasn't having it. I don't think he realized I understood his Spanish. That's brilliant. Oh my goodness. We really got under the skin of Messi and Barcelona in that second leg, and that game will probably haunt them for years to come, and I'm just delighted about that. So let me know, guys, what do you think about all the talking points that we mentioned in this video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. See you later. Goodbye.